A dog is a man's best friend, and according to Josh Billings, a dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. This, to me, could not be more true. I grew up with dogs. Dogs are an incredible thing in my life. I've had a golden retriever that loved me since when I was a very baby, and we've had multiple dogs in my house since then. But more recently, my roommates and I decided to go to an animal shelter because we shared a love for dogs. Dogs have always been a big part of our lives, and they have just showed us unconditional love, so we just decided to visit an animal shelter. We saw that these animal shelters were well run, that the animals were healthy, and the animals were very happy there. We came back with this girl. Her name is Phoebe, and she is probably one of the best decisions we've ever made. She's a border collie rat terrier mix, and she's the happiest, most loving thing that we could have asked for when we come home from a long day. When thinking about getting a pet, most of the time I think about going to a pet breeder or a pet store and just buying a really expensive puppy. But animal shelter dogs are just as loving, and they're probably in more need of a home than a dog that you would get from a breeder. So why do you need a dog? There's really not a reason why you need a dog, except for the fact that they are so loving and they're unconditionally yours. According to the ASPCA, approximately 37 to 40% of all households in the U.S. have dogs. So if dogs weren't worth having, this statistic would not be so high. They increase lifestyle changes. If you're sitting on the couch and your dog needs a walk, you're probably going to get up and walk your dog because you love it. And so they contribute to your exercise. They provide you company, and they provide you with so much joy because they're just so silly. So, paying hundreds of dollars for a dog is not necessary. So why should you adopt a shelter dog versus a puppy from a pet store? A puppy from a shelter has had a hard life, and most of the time the stereotype is that they're mean dogs. However, this isn't true, because they are usually just animals who have lost their real homes, and they need a home. And according to the ASPCA, only 5 to 7 million dogs are brought to shelters each year, and these are the lucky dogs. They're the dogs who really need a home and who have been hurt, who are hungry, and these shelters provide whatever these dogs need. So they're cheaper. We paid $25 for our dog Phoebe, and that included all of her vet bills, all of her spay and neuter bills, and it was much cheaper than going and paying $500 to $1,000 for a purebred dog who is serving the same purpose as Phoebe. Phoebe is there to help us after a long day, and she is definitely serving her purpose. Shelters, the downside of shelters is that they are forced oftentimes to euthanize dogs. So when you are adopting from a shelter, you're preventing euthanasia. The Humane Society stated that employees are often forced to put perfectly healthy animals down because there's simply not enough room for these dogs. There's so many dogs that come in and out of shelters that there would be no way to keep all of them. So when you adopt from a shelter, you are really saving a dog. You're saving the dog that you bought, and you're also saving the dog that another dog that can be put in that place. When you adopt a dog, another dog can go into that your dog's spot. So this slide just kind of shows some statistics about euthanasia. The biggest thing on this is the euthanasia statistic. It says that 35,000 out of 100,000 dogs have to be euthanized simply because there's just not enough room anymore. So, according to animalhomelessness.com, many strays are lost pets. They had a loving home at one point, but they just did not have a proper ID or, not a proper they were not kept properly indoors. So if someone were to if I were to accidentally lose one of my dogs, I would want somebody to take my dog in and provide it with a new home. If she were in a shelter, I would want somebody to really just love my dog the way I loved her. I would want it to be saved. I would not want her to be euthanized. She provides so much joy that it would be a waste of a dog. And I think that if you decide that you want a dog and you are using it for purely love and support, that an animal shelter dog is an amazing option. So I encourage you guys to, next time you're looking for a dog, just at least take a look at shelters. You don't even have to go to the shelter. You can go to websites. This is the City of Edmond website. These are 2 dogs on the website that have the full bio, have pictures, and it's just a really good way to look into your options. They are happy, they are healthy, and they are not, most of the time, are not mean. There are exceptions, but most of the time they're just loving dogs who need your love and need your support. These are some other shelters that you can take a look at. We have the Humane Society. We have Pets Are Angels, or Pet Rescues, and it would just be in your best interest when looking for a dog to at least take a look at the websites. If you want to go to the shelter, that would be even better. Because the animal shelters do a really good job of showing you which kind of animals there are and where they came from. They really do a good job of researching what kind of dog they are, because most of the time the dogs at shelters are mixed dogs. So in conclusion, dogs are just they'll be your best friends. They will love you unconditionally, and they will really be a wonderful companion. So I urge you to, next time you're looking for a dog, just really consider an animal shelter, because they are wonderful dogs, and you will be so satisfied that you are saving a life.